Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Interview with a Roadie. This is the series where I get to sit down with artists, band members, and crew members and just talk about whatever we want. Because a lot of these guys get asked the same exact questions in interviews all the time, I don't prep anything. I don't do any background research. I just sit down with them, have a conversation, and see where it takes us. And in today's episode, I had the absolute pleasure of sitting down with Grant Truesdell, one of the guitar players for Unleash the Archers. Phenomenal, chill, really laid back guy. I loved spending some time with him. I got to talk to him about what he's been up to while they've been home from tour for the past year, how he got into music and what some of his favorite gear is. We talked about being dads. We talked about the YouTube reaction scene. And he also shared with me how much Unleash the Archers appreciates their fan base and what they mean to them. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this next 30-minute conversation between myself and Grant Truesdell. Welcome back, everybody. I have an awesome guest today. We got Grant from Unleash the Archers in the house. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. It's so awesome to be here with you.
Dude, I'm super excited, man. It's been a while since I've gotten to do an interview with anybody because, I mean, we talked about it. You're a dad too, but, you know, having a 6-week-old at home, I haven't been able to get a lot done.
Hey, dude, I understand 100%.
Yeah. And you've got 2 kids, yeah?
2 of my own, and then my partner also has a 13-year-old daughter. So family of 5 over here.
Man.
In some instances, we've got a built-in babysitter with
yeah.
the 13-year-old, but we know teenagers, and they have their own course of challenges that come with them as well.
Oh, absolutely. We were all teenagers at one point.
Exactly.
Dude, this is cool, man. I'm so glad to have you here, and let's just sit and talk about some random shit, man. So I just want to get like the elephant in the room out of the way because everybody wants to know because we're still kind of in it. Like, you guys haven't toured in at least a year now, right?
Yeah, I was getting all the the year ago notifications, and everyone was getting the memories on Facebook and stuff. I'm like, oh, last show a year ago, and it was like in March. So we're just past the 1 year anniversary of no shows.
Dude,
we did have a live stream show, but
yes,
that doesn't really count. But yeah, man, it's tough. It sucks, you know.
I would argue it counts, dude. I know what you mean. It doesn't count because it's not live and you can't see people, but I think those live streams mean a lot to people right now, man, especially 100%. Since it's the only way they get to see some of their favorite bands.
Dude, and it meant a lot to us. Like, because, we were playing stuff from the new album. It's really the only show we've played for the new album. And, just being in lockdown and stuff, even though, you're playing to cameras, you still had to prep for a show. You still were at the venue. You're loading things in. You're like, oh, man, I miss moving my amp. Things that you would dread every night after night, you're looking forward to again. So it makes you appreciate, what you don't have.
Yeah, absolutely. You just said something kind of a good point I want to bring up. The people that watch my channel know that I'm a roadie. I work for other bands. But not all bands are in the financial situation where they can all hire people. So you were just saying you're moving all your own amps around. When you guys did that show and stuff, are you like teching your own stuff, moving your own stuff, all that?
For the most part, yeah, 100%. The last tour, the last US tour was the first time that we brought out our own sound guy.
Nice.
We've always, for the past couple of years, we've always had like a merch guy. We've always had a tour manager, a driver. So we're slowly, tour by tour, adding one more kind of crew member.
Yeah. There's kind of an order that goes to that too, that I see with a lot of bands. It's usually tour manager first, then a merch guy, then maybe a sound guy. And then after that, you start getting the people that can work on your instruments and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've been on tours when I was younger where, I've been fortunate in recent years to have like one position, like guitar tech. But even when I started this gig that I was recently on, it's like I had multiple hats. And dude, I've been on tours where it's like, we had a tour manager / front of house guy. And then I'm the merch guy, drum tech, bass tech, guitar tech, lighting guy, like everything in between. Yeah. But
I mean, I remember back in the day when it was literally just us in a van. We were the drivers, we were the tour managers, we were the booking agent, we were the merch guy. Sometimes we did our own sound because there wasn't even a sound guy there. It was just a small board side stage. And like, we were at the point where we're keeping track of every single hour that someone drives, so that by the end of the tour, everyone's driven. Okay, you've only got driven 45 hours. You need to get 3 more hours in before the end of the tour.
Yeah. Dude, we
have a cycle of who would be DD every night, who would be, designated driver at the end of the show. Like, yeah.
Dude, you're giving me flashbacks, man. Before I became a roadie, I was in a band, and we did like, I will never forget those days, man. Just being in a van with 4 other guys, nobody with us. And like, it's rough, man. Like, it's rough, but it's some of the best times I've ever had, and I wouldn't trade it. Like, yeah. I think a lot of people see their favorite bands now, like when they're in tour buses and playing massive shows, and they kind of don't remember those days. Not the bands, but the fans. They don't like picture their favorite bands that are big now, like,
sleeping at Walmart parking lot,
dude,
cooking bacon in the parking lot in like in sandals in the morning.
Dude, I have so much respect. Like, I used to joke that every single person that tours, it should be like mandatory to do a year in a van and trailer, because it makes you appreciate it more once you start hiring your own employees or getting onto a bus. Like, when I was in a band, we toured with a band once that they blew up when their first single ever released. Like, you're talking like a semi, multiple buses, all that stuff. And for the next 10 years of their career, they were really cushy in buses and a semi. And then they hit a rough patch and they had to downsize to a van and a trailer. And in their 10-year career, that was the first time they had to go in a van and trailer. And they were like, this sucks. Like, that's what we've been doing, dude. Like, it makes you appreciate that shit way more. So one of the things I love that you're doing to keep busy is you jumped on Twitch within the last couple months.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Dude, how are you liking that?
I am kind of kicking myself for taking so long to get over to Twitch. Like, it is kind of fulfilling the void left of not playing shows. Right. You still stay relevant to your fan base. You're not just like, you haven't just disappeared from them. You're still there. You're hanging out with them almost even more than you ever have been. Like, I'm on there 4 days a week, if not more, and, I don't think anyone's ever seen me online that much. Dude, my whole life.
I was up late last night working on something. It was 3:30 in the morning, my time. And I saw that you were on playing StarCraft.
Yeah.
I was like, it's like, dude, it is a really cool thing though, man, because, I jump on your streams and I watch, and I think the fans of your band and stuff like that, they get to see you at a more personal level than they would get to see you just on stage or, in music videos and stuff like that. And I think that's super cool. Lots of artists are doing that now. I see Brittney's been on a lot as well. Andrew's been on a lot as well.
Or on any other social media platform for that matter. There's no other social media platform where you get like that intimate of a hangout. It's like every other platform, it's like a snapshot of the best part of your life. It's not like, okay, this is live. This isn't like 10 takes and I've just given you the best take. You get the true me. And I try to check out every comment in the chat. I'm sure there's things I missed.
It gets hard.
Yeah.
It gets hard, dude.
Playing at the same time, like, still trying to get that down, talking and playing without messing it up.
Dude, speaking of the playing on there, man, I love that, like, you're mixing it up really well rather than it just being, Unleash the Archers stuff. Dude, I got onto one of your streams one night and you were ripping through a Carcass album and I was just like, yes, I just popped that up. Like, I love that, man. And I love that gives everybody a good look at like the kind of stuff you're into. And that's kind of one of the next things I wanted to ask. You and Andy are one of my favorite guitar duos in music right now. And don't let that get to your head. Like, did you guys know each other in your local music scene before you were both in UTA together?
Oh yeah, dude. We've been playing together and friends since we were like 12 years old.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. So the town we both grew up in, Courtenay, Comox Valley on Vancouver Island, the music store there had a program called Weekend Warriors. So you would sign up your kid, like we were just kids, like 11, 12 years old. You'd sign up your kid. They would fill out what instrument they played, and then they would set you up in a band. And you would have like a coach, a teacher that you'd learn 3 covers, and then you'd write your own song. And then at the end of, 3 months or so, they would put on a concert and every band would like play their first show. So we both signed up to that. And I was in a band with Andrew's brother, and Andrew was in a different band. And that's how we all ended up meeting. And then out of that, we formed a band together and had been playing together ever since.
That's what, dude, I wish we had something like that where I grew up, man. That sounds awesome.
Unbelievable, man. Yeah. I was actually talking about that just the other day, and I hadn't thought about that in a long time. And it kind of makes me want to start something like that.
Dude, I was literally just thinking when you were talking about that, like, I've never heard of something like, well, you've got like the school rock kind of stuff, like they're famous out in New Jersey and stuff like that. But like, living in Nashville, a big music city, I've never heard of anything like that. And I feel like that would be something that would be huge here.
Yeah. Well, it completely changed our lives because it brought us together.
Did you get to pick the covers you wanted to do, or did your teacher like assign you stuff?
Yeah, you got to pick it like between you're getting set up with complete randos. Like you don't know anyone going into this. So you got you got 2 guitarists, a bassist, drummer, and a singer for the most part, most bands. And I think like everyone got to pick a song. I think every member got to pick a cover that then everyone had to do. So it was like some of them was pretty mixed, Yeah. Like, I can't remember what songs we did. Probably like some, Blink 182 and like some type stuff. I remember Andrew's band, they did like some Weezer and some System of a Down.
Dude, it's so funny you're bringing all those bands up because the town I grew up in, when we all got together and decided like around that age, like 12, 13, like let's be in a band, we were covering all those same bands. It's like we were trying to cover Toxicity by System of a Down and Damn It by Blink 182 and Fat Lip by Sum 41. And like,
yeah. I mean, those are like not the easiest songs to learn, but they're very intro musician level songs.
They're very accessible. Yeah. They're very accessible. Yeah. And dude, that's awesome. So gear wise, I see you a lot playing Ibanez. You're an exclusive Ibanez artist. What would be your go-to? What's your favorite guitar you have? If you're just sitting down and you're going to start playing, what's the one you prefer to go for?
Probably this new one right here. Or just Ibanez. What is it? RG1 1070 PBZ. Mainly right now because it's my only guitar that's in standard tuning, right? Standard 6-string. It's always got the whammy bar in it. Yeah. So it's kind of like ready to go for anything.
Yeah.
So and it's my newest, so it hasn't been toured yet. So it's not like it's pristine right now.
Nice.
Right? It plays really beautifully.
Selfish question for me, when you're playing, what kind of pickup configuration do you like for the most part? Are you just rocking all of them or just the humbuckers?
I think every guitar's got a bit of a different pickup setup. And yeah. I haven't been that particular in my pickups yet. That might be the next step I kind of need to take as far as my my gear honing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if are you talking brand or like?
Oh no, I was kind of admiring the guitar, and I was just wondering for your style of playing, like do you usually just leave all the pickups active? Do you eliminate a single coil? Do you prefer just the humbuckers on? Like, that's kind of what I was.
Yeah, they're usually all passive. Just humbuckers.
Yeah, everything on ripping. Dude, that's sick.
Yeah.
It was funny, man. Like years ago, even when I was teching until recently, like I didn't even know. Like I kind of learned in the last 5 years that there are people that actually pay way more attention to their pickups. I kind of learned that in country music because growing up around rock and metal, most of, like myself with bass and my friends, like they just throw the tone knob up and throw everything on and just rip because a lot of the effects that they're getting are from their pedal boards and stuff like that. These country players, man, it's like part of my teching job was to actually know what pickup configuration needed to be on for what song. And I was like, it really matters to you guys that much? And they're like, absolutely. And I was like, okay.
Like, you really notice it on a clean tone.
Yes.
Like a cleaner tone, 100%.
Yeah. And you know, country, you do have a lot more of the cleaner tones, whereas in rock and metal, you're getting overdrives and distortions and stuff like that on there. But, man, there was something I really wanted to ask you and I forgot what it was.
Was there any dad advice?
Oh, dude, I mean, for people watching, before we even started this interview, like I was a minute late because I was like, sorry, dude, I was changing the diaper. Like, it's like, oh, I do remember what I was going to ask you. So while you were touring, how is it an adjustment for you having kids at home when you have to leave for tour? How difficult is that for you? How difficult is it for them? Because I've seen a lot of people that do it as well, but being that I used to be on the road all the time and I now have a daughter, I was really curious just to talk to you about how you feel about that.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Like, you feel guilty, 100%. Like I think it's most hard on your partner.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because they have to take all the workload of taking care of the kids, right? The kids, they obviously miss you and you miss them, and it sucks not being part of certain aspects of their life, especially at such a young age when so much is happening for them development wise, and there's so much bonding that happens between you and them during that time. But like Jethro is 4 years old now and Victoria is 2. So, it's not easy. It makes things so much harder, but luckily with technology, like, you get on a video call with them every night. And, with now streaming on Twitch, when we go on tour, like I'll be streaming all the time, the shows, backstage, things like that before, so you'll be able to see me even more. But yeah, it's the hardest part about it is on your partner, right? You feel guilty leaving them with having to take care of the whole household, right? And now it's maybe a little bit different, but before, in the early days of touring, you're not going out and you're making less money by leaving. It's not like you're leaving and I'm like, okay, we can afford to pay for a nanny and all this extra help. It's like you're taking a huge pay cut to leave. It's like, you save up to go on tour and then you don't make money for that whole time. All right. So
maybe not Victoria, but does Jethro, now that he's getting older, does he kind of understand that it's like, this is dad's job? Like he's a professional musician.
100%. Yeah. And he was talking to me about that the other day. He's like, Daddy, what's my job? I'm like, buddy, your job is just to be a kid and go to school and have fun. He's like, no, but what's my job for money? I'm like, well, the best thing you could do is just find something that you love and get really good at it. Yeah. I'm like, whether that be music or whether it be, sports, or you just get really smart. And he's like, I want to get really smart. So he's now on this kick of wanting to be a scientist.
Nice.
And I'm like, well, if you get, whatever you do on either of those platforms, like if you get really good at it, you can help change the world. And he's like, I want to change the world. And I'm like,
Dude.
okay, my man.
Yeah, you got a good kid.
I'm like, how are you going to change the world? He's like, I'm going to make robots. I was like, okay. I'm like, what are these robots going to do? He's like, they're going to make the sky red. I'm going to change the world. He's like, everything's going to be red because red is his favorite color.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, okay,
dude. That's great. It was, I actually had, I think it was, it might've been Chase Carnison or somebody on my Discord, but they're like, oh, you gotta have a second generation roadie in your household now? And I was like, hell no. Like, like, listen, whatever my daughter wants to do, I'm gonna support it. And that's totally cool. That's my job as a dad, is to support her. And I mean, dude, she's 6 weeks old. We didn't even have to think about this for a while, but it's like, I spent a long enough time working for other bands and stuff to like, be like, nah, you should probably go do something else.
Use your path.
I will say though, I would not change a thing about what I've done, because I went to college to play baseball. I hurt my arm. I decided not to finish college. And in my family, you know, my parents were really supportive of whatever I did, but my grandparents were very old school. They were like, you need to finish college. You need a degree.
Yeah. You need that degree. You need to get that 401k, that pension.
Yeah. Well, I dropped out of college and joined a band. And dude, from the age of like 18 to 21, I learned how to live broke as hell. I'm talking like I never had more than like $40 or $50 in my bank account at any point in like 3 or 4 years. And then I became a roadie. And, you know, had I taken different paths, sure, I might make more money. But dude, some of the life experiences I've gotten, I've gone places and done things, as I'm sure you have, that a lot of other people will never get to do. And I'm so grateful and fortunate for that, man. I've made so many cool friends around the world and seen so many cool things. Like, you know, it's been a trip, dude. It's been really fun. And, you know,
how did you get into roadieing? I'm sure you've shared it on your channel before.
So, a little bit. So I was in a band. We were opening for bands. Like, we were on a package tour, and I started just getting stressed on the road because I was broke all the time. And like, I hate to say it, but it's like the band wasn't going the places we thought it was going to. And one of the bands we were working with, just like I became friends with, and they kind of saw that I was stressed, and I started venting to them, and they were like, would you ever consider like working for bands? Cause I mean, we can tell you have a good work ethic, and like, if we ever need somebody, like, we could pay you. And I'll never forget how it first happened though. Like, this scenario is like, it was embarrassing at the time. Our whole band, we're in a van headed to a gig. We're like somewhere in Iowa. And I get a phone call from the guitar player for this band that we were touring with. And I thought he was going to ask us to go back out on tour with them again. So I put him on speakerphone, because he's like,
oh, hey, no.
he's like, what are you doing starting in September? And I immediately speakerphone, and the whole band's like, I'm driving, and the whole band's like leaning up to listen. And he's like, so we've got a big tour coming up, and you know, we don't want to like rip you away from your band if you don't want to, but he's like, we'll hire you and pay you to come work for us if you're into that. And like, the whole band just kind of like looked at me like, what are you going to say right now? And dude, I knew at that point my foot was out the door of being in a band. But I eventually took it. And my first pay as a roadie for another band was $75 per show day. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but as like a 23-year-old kid, I think it was 22, $75 a day was more money than I had ever made in my entire life. And I felt like king of the world. I was like, fuck it, let's do it. Like, and it was great, man. I had a good couple years with that band, and, you know, I used that as a learning experience. They originally hired me as a merch guy, and then I learned how to do lighting, and then I learned how to do pyro, and then I started drum and bass teching, and I started picking up all these skills. And, you know, I know this is, you know, people are watching this interview because it's with you, but if there's anybody watching this that is interested in working in the music industry, the best advice I would impart on people is to learn as much as you can. Like, don't just pick one specific job in the music industry. Try and learn about all of it, because that opens you up to a whole nother world of like, you know, let's just say I was just a guitar tech. The only job offers I'm going to get for tours are guitar techs. But because I can do merch and bass tech and drum tech and tour manage and all that, it opens you up to more opportunities for other bands.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So I kind of want to get, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I did want to talk to you about just the YouTube thing in general. Like, I started this channel more out of boredom during the pandemic because we didn't know when we were going to tour, and reaction things were never the plan. It just kind of became a thing. And there are some bands that are so insanely shitty about it. But then there are other bands like you guys, for example, that, dude, I see you guys commenting on videos, you're doing interviews on other channels, you're promoting other people's stuff. Like, was this when you guys started seeing reactions to your music, did you have a moment of like, what is this? Or did you guys realize right away, like, we're like, wow, there's people showing our music to other people. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it was weird. I don't even remember like the first reaction video I saw, but I absolutely love them, man. I watch a lot of them. I hate to admit as the band, watching somebody watch your own stuff, right? But it gives you, I don't know, it kind of gives you feedback into what people like, what they don't like, and as a creator, you want to, not that you're like, okay, let's write the perfect song that's everyone's gonna love, right? But it's good to get kind of an unbiased feedback from that. And dude, like, we owe reaction channels so much for helping fans find us through those avenues, and so we 100% endorse it. And I know Napalm Records does as well.
Dude, that's incredible to me because, I could talk about this for a while because there's so much weird business stuff that's involved, but like the copyright system on YouTube, I understand why it's there. I get it. Like, I've told any reactor that bitches, I've always kind of said, like, we're using other people's copyrighted material. That's a fact. Like, so I get it. But at the same time, there's labels that they won't, or publishers rather, they won't even try and play nice. They will immediately block your videos. On the flip side of that, Napalm Records has been so cool in the reaction scene where it's like they fully support it. Like, they're the first label that I've seen since I've been doing this that, like, it's almost like they see the potential value in it. They're like, we're getting free marketing for our bands. Like, if that turns into new fans and CD sales and tour ticket sales and like, they have been so awesome, man. They've been, they've reached out to me when they have something new that they think I would like. They've said, if you ever have any problems with stuff, please let us know. They're the nicest people, dude. Like, I would be stoked to be working with a label like that if I were you guys.
Yeah, no, they've been phenomenal for us. 100%.
That's awesome. And besides, everything else, especially in the current climate, what do you as a band member feel is the best way for your fan base and your community to like support you guys? Like, what would you like the person wanting to know? How can I help? What is the best thing for them to do to support you guys?
100%. Well, right now I would say Twitch is the best. Like, while we're not touring, we all stream. Most of us, 3 out of 4 of us, stream on Twitch. We're on there. There's only one day of the week you can't find us on there. So that's one way to come find us. The other, indie merch store is the best place to kind of buy our merch if you're wanting to do that. But, BandCamp gives the most to bands. But, the best thing you can do for us, and the biggest way we've grown, is just from our fans and word of mouth. And, our fans commenting on all these reaction videos. Hey, check out this band, right? It's like, it's to us, it's all about community and staying in touch with everyone. And we're very approachable. Like, you can send me a message on any platform, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, Twitch. Our Discord has been really big. I know for you as well.
Yeah, your Discord's wild, man. I pop in there from time to time.
Yeah, and it's like we're in there all the time, right?
Yeah.
And it's like we owe so much to our fans and everyone who's supported us up until now, that we don't want to leave anyone behind, right? We're there to answer your question, be there with you. So other than coming out to our shows, which will eventually happen, find us on Twitch, check out our indie merch store. I think everything's linked through unleashthearchers.com.
Yeah.
So we've got that website as well.
Awesome. I'll make sure at the end of this, I post links to all this stuff. If anybody's interested, they can, check the description of this video, look at it afterwards. Like I'm going to make sure I get all that stuff plugged, but that's just awesome to hear, man, because there's, the sad reality is that there are some bands that they want to be famous. They want to be rich. They want to be in a band, but they don't really appreciate how they got to that point. And so to see a band like you guys that really, really appreciates your fans and interacts with them so much. I mean, that's just, coming from me, who's been around a lot of different bands. I mean, it's just so awesome to see, dude. Like, you guys are just phenomenal people, and it's not surprising. You're all Canadian, like,
living up to the stereotype,
dude. I mean, hey, what a stereotype to have, though. Like, I mean, I'm American. I go to other countries, and people just assume I'm a dickhead.
Changing it one video at a time, though.
One
smile at a time.
Oh man. Well, dude,
man, like we owe, like I said, fans are the king in this equation. The customer in any business is king. Bands, businesses that thrive, they put customer service at the top of the list. The customer's always right. Like, you would be, any business, any band would be nothing without the support from the community.
Absolutely.
So it is our duty and responsibility to kind of give that back.
Yeah.
Right?
So before we finish this off and I let you get back to your family, it's time that I do another UTA reaction. If you could pick one song, I don't even care if there's a music video at this point. If it's audio, I like whatever. Yeah. What's like your favorite song that you would like me to listen to that I probably haven't heard yet?
I would say The Wind That Shapes the Land. Okay.
I've seen a lot of requests for that.
Dude, that is the best song off the new album.
Okay. Awesome. Well, then that's what we're going to do, man. So I will do that for you, but
it's an epic. There's no video for it, but
hey, that's fine, man. I'll listen to it. It'll be a good time, man. Thank you so much for jumping on here and sitting down with me, dude. This was an absolute blast. And dude, we've already talked off of here a lot, so I know we'll stay in touch, but
if for sure.
If there's anything that I can do whenever, you guys ever get to Nashville, I'll come tech for you for a day, man.
Damn right, man. Yeah. All right, dude. I appreciate you having me on here, man.
Dude, of course, man. I mean, maybe we'll do this again somewhere down the line. Like, let's say, new music or something like that. We can catch up months or maybe a year from now, and we'll see how things have changed.
For sure.
Awesome, dude. Well, thanks again.
The other guys are into it as well. So you get different perspectives.
Absolutely, man. Well, maybe we'll have to have somebody else on here. I'll get Andrew on here next. Everybody gets Brittney. Like,
I know.
I kept telling everybody, I was like, I'm getting Grant. And they're like, yeah, but Brittney does interviews with everybody. I was like, exactly.
Yeah.
I want the guitar players. But dude, again, thank you so much, man. I hope everybody that watched enjoyed this, and hopefully I'll talk to you soon, dude.
Sounds good, bro. Yeah. Thank you for everyone for checking this out too.
Awesome. Have a good one, man.
You too, dude.